Welcome, everyone, to Race 9 of the HTL Cup Series season, November 10th, 2025. It is the Blankenship Freight Lines 500 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the epicenter of stock car racing. Raised life for the 7th time in HTL Cup Series action, the PFL 500 Crown Jewel event. 41 cars attempting to qualify for this race. One car going home. It is a shocking turn of events to open up the broadcast. 67 car of Caitlin Height, who finished on the podium just a week ago, entering as an open car and failing to qualify for the first time in her HTL Cup Series career. She'll be the only car going home here tonight. In a night full of anticipation, of expectation, and a walk into the unknown, we welcome you to HTL on ABN here in Charlotte. 8 races down, 8 races to come in the regular season here in HTL. Here's what the points look like entering this race. Those marked in cyan are those with race wins so far. 7 winners through the first 8 races. The only multi-time race winner, Patrick Oberstadt, top 4 in the points. It is Mark Kissenweather that leads the field in the point standings. Through the first 8 races, Pacey Wygant in second, Bryn Roberts in third, Patrick Oberstadt in fourth, all of them having very shaky races at Chicago last Monday. Eli Sasek, Stephen Oberstadt, Tucker Sawyer, Josh Susie, Shad Swatsworth, Bailey Thompson, her race win in Chicago last Monday, moving her into the top 10. Jeremy Braille, his top 5, also getting more and more secure in that top 12. Zach Meredith moved into the top 12 as well last week in Chicago. And then you look at those on the outside looking in. Here's Zach Apperson. Right now, he's 17th in points, but he has a race win. That's what the cyan indicates there. The wild card rule, we explained it on social media earlier. We'll explain it here as well. If you're outside the top 16 and you have a race win, you move into the top 16 as a wild card. You lose your playoff points. You'll start at 0 for the start of the playoffs, but you'll be in the playoffs with a chance of the championship next year once we get past the new year. So Apperson jumps ahead of Cody Pennell using the wild card rule. Matt Vorngren and Byron Jones end up being the final 3 cars in the playoffs if they started tonight. Thankfully, they don't. Everyone's got time to work, and these next 4 weeks will be critical. Josh Arnold, Davis Neal Jr., Lily Sharp, Josh Stoltz, Dean Clavitt, Elias Flores, Alfred Denny, and Callie Height among those hoping for a little bit of change over these next 4 weeks. This next month going to be critical. For the first time in HTL Cup Series history, open setup on a non-plate track is what we're dealing with here tonight. It's exciting being able to see everything come into fruition. Typically, there's a limited amount of adjustments that are able to be made before a race, and then it's locked down during the race itself. Now it's completely open for the next 4 races here in Charlotte, next week in Atlanta for the Henderson Graphics 400, the race at Pocono in 2 weeks, and then in 3 weeks' time, the Charity 350 at Kentucky on ABN's home turf. So that's going to be pretty exciting to keep an eye on here over the next 4 weeks, especially tonight. This race, the crown jewel of those 4. Everyone throwing as much as they can at this race. This is also the track that everyone has the most experience at on any given day. Again, we're glad you're with us here for the BFL 500. Some information going into this race. The track record, 29.548, set by Hunter Peach a year ago. Stages, there's no stage breaks in tonight's race. Lap 50 and lap 100 are the end of the stages. If a caution comes out within 5 laps of a stage ending, the stage will end on that lap instead. Pit speed, very tricky, especially under green flag conditions, 45 miles an hour. You approach turns 3 and 4 about 180, 185 miles an hour, trying to roll down to 45 before pit entry here at Charlotte. Fuel mileage gets you to just about a standard stage length with open setups. That could be changed. That could be extended by some teams if they've got things dialed in correctly. 1.5 miles here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 24 degrees of banking around all 4 corners of the racetrack. This is the 10th time the Charlotte Motor Speedway oval configuration has hosted an HTL race, the 7th BFL 500. First couple seasons, there were 2 races on the oval every season. This year, only 1. John Hagan, last season's champion, the defending winner, not in this race. Bianca Constantinou, not in this race. Caitlin Height, a former winner of the BFL 500, failing to qualify here tonight. Zach Meredith, also a race winner here. Dustin Hall, a season 2 race winner here in the BFL 500, not here tonight. In his place, in the number 1 car, Christina Ryan, former ABN world champion. Did not qualify, will start in the bottom 5 positions here tonight. Warm-up underway here at Charlotte as everyone gets ready to go racing. This is your last chance to dial things in for the start here at Charlotte. Again, it's a brand new world, open setups here in HTL, everyone having an entire playbook at their disposal. What do you make use of here in Charlotte? That is the big time question. Upcoming races here in the HTL Cup Series after tonight. We talked about the race next week at Atlanta, the Henderson Graphics 400, Pocono, November 24th before Thanksgiving. And then December 1st, the last planned open setup race at Kentucky Speedway, ABN's home playground, on December 1st before we go back to Sebring for the first time in HTL on December 8th and the Bristol night race on December 15th. And we're glad you're with us here. HTL's seasonal salute to veterans in armed services. See the timing screen up to date here with everything going on. Josh Arnold, one of 2 cars marked in yellow in this race. There's been an in-season tournament that's played out over the last month. The finals are today. It is Josh Arnold versus Steven Overstat for the mid-season madness that concludes here tonight. Josh Arnold, a one-time HTL Cup Series race winner. Steven Overstat still looking for his first race win in the HTL Cup Series. Both of them having some early pace, though. We'll see how that plays out. Both of them marked in yellow. So you can keep an eye on that battle as it progresses throughout the 208-lap race tonight. Some really good paints around the racetrack as well. Stars and stripes out on full display. You'll have a chance to really see those paints when we go through the starting grid here in a few minutes. So we're excited. That being said, we are going to step away for a word from Henderson Graphics, one of the sponsors of the HTL Cup Series. Don't go anywhere because more to come after this. Glad you're with us here for the HTL Cup Series BFL 500. Practice coming to a close here in the HTL Cup Series event. Again, a look at your standings before things get underway here. Again, the top 12 locked in based on points. You see a lot of your race winners in that top 12. Marquissa Weather looking to submit his championship lead here that has changed hands between the top 4 all season long so far. Chad Swatsworth, your Daytona 500 winner. Bailey Thompson winning in Chicago a week ago. Also in the top 12 now, Zach Apperson needing a good result. He's got that race win in his back pocket, but remember, as a wild card, you lose all your playoff points, and Apperson's racked up a few with that win at Talladega. Obviously, you look at some drivers on the outside of the top 15 on this list. Josh Arnold, David Smith Jr., Lily Sharp, Josh Stoltz, Dean Clavitt, Elias Flores, Alfred Denny, Callie Height. They've got some work to do to get ready for this event. And then you look at the drivers that need a lot of help here, and a win would help them out significantly. Hunter Peach, Blake Henderson, Dale Markowski, Dustin Hall, as we mentioned, not here tonight. He's been replaced by Christina Ryan for this race here in Charlotte. Josh Gaiman in 30th, running as a mostly part-time effort. He's moved up into the top 30 already. Austin Mongold, who had the pole position here last season, could also do with some good luck. That being said, it is time to go over the starting grid here in Charlotte. So what better way? They're from the top. It's a Ascent Racing 1-2. The front row lockout there for them. Casey Wygen and Elias Flores on the front row. This is Flores' best qualifying effort in HTL competition. He starts alongside his teammate there on row 1. Row 2, Josh Gaiman for Valfreya Motorsports, breaking up the Ascent Racing party as the lone Chevrolet in the top 10. He's alongside Josh Stoltz, recovering from that suspension 2 weeks ago in the crash in Chicago last Monday. Row 3, Mark Kissenweather, your points leader, starts in row number 3 alongside Zach Meredith, the best Ford of the bunch in qualifying. Row 4, Josh Arnold. He's in that midseason madness final. He's marked in yellow. Eli Sassick alongside him in 8th. Row 4 completed there. Chelsea Carter qualifying for Richard Odie. Qualified top 10 alongside Bobby Blowers. Those two swapped cars, essentially. Bobby Blowers in Chelsea Carter's car normally, and both of them in the top 10 as a result. Jeremy Braille in the 74, Davis Moon Jr. in the 54. They make up row 6, 11th and 12th on the grid. Chad Swatsworth and Kyle Taub, teammates in row 7 from Busher Racing Club. Josh Susie and Byron Jones in row 8. Susie expecting to do great things tonight, enough to do so from 15th on the grid. Kevin Feemster and Cody Pennell, a couple of rookies in HTL, starting in row 9. Cody Pennell had a podium finish in Chicago a week ago. Would love to back that up here tonight in Charlotte. Alfred Denny, row 10, alongside last week's winner, Bailey Thompson. They make up the top 20. Then it's Austin Mongold and Patrick Overstat in row 11. They've got some work to do. Both of them expecting to do well here in North Carolina. Zach Apperson, Matt Blundgren in row 12 make up your top 24 ahead of Randy Payne and Blake Henderson, racing from row 13 after getting his first top 10 of the season in Texas 2 weeks ago. Lily Sharp and Callie Height make up row 14. Keep an eye on that road. Both of them trying to make moves aggressively here to start. Olivia Pereira in the 96 after being filled in for by Blowers last week in Chicago. Dylan Markowski alongside in row 15. Dean Clavitt and Hunter Peach, row 16. Car 43 and car 20 make up row 16 there. KJ Gibney and Stephen Oberstadt start from the back of the field in row 17. They've got work to do as well. Caitlin Height, the only D and Q as an open car. First time in her career failing to qualify. Ross Baxter in row 18 will stay where he's at in 36th. And everyone on the inside will move forward, though. Angel Santiago and Christina Ryan qualified row 19. Santiago moves up a row. Bren Roberts and Tucker Sawyer qualified row 20th. That's 39th and 40th in qualifying. Bren Roberts moves up a row. And completing row 20 is Gary Donaldson. He'll move up to that final row alongside Bren Roberts. Again, we're glad you're with us here for the HTL Cup Series BFL 500, the 7th time. BFL 500 has been in play here in HTL. It's been a long-time favorite. Salute to the veterans and those in the armed services here tonight. A bunch of stars and stripes out in full song. It's time to get the party started. We are racing in Charlotte. first lap immediately in the books. Casey Wygen out to an early lead, side by side behind him, as Josh Gaiman tries to take over second place from Elias Flores. Remember, open setup. Everyone's got something a little bit different for the first time on a non-plate track. Everything wide open. Flores in the fence. Wygen continues to lead. He's led lap 2. Not a lot of immediate movers here in the field. Everyone's still figuring things out here. They found the limits in practice in a warm-up. They got to dial things in. Talking about constructive conversations between series officials and the drivers last month to put these 4 races in play, beginning here in Charlotte. Spreading out a little bit. That was expected. Everyone figuring things out, feeling out the early vibe of this race. Elias Flores held off Josh Gaiman to get back into the second spot. So Gaiman back down to third. Top 4, or as they started, excuse me. Zach Meredith in 5th, Mark Kissenweather in 6th. Chelsea Carter's up 2 spots in 7th. Chad Swatsworth up 5 spots along with Josh Susi. They're 8th and 10th respectively. Trouble. That is Wygen. Will lose spots immediately. Will drop all the way down to the 8th position. Flores also lost spots in that checkup for his teammate. Josh Stoltz now leads the way, getting 3 spots in one go as everyone reacted to Wygen. So Stoltz now in the race lead. He was in a good position until he crashed out of Chicago a week ago. Ascent definitely has something cooking right now here in Charlotte. The early run has been dominated by their drivers. Here comes Gaiman once again. Battling this time with Zach Meredith. 17 on the outside lane. Shoots clear and immediately goes all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. He wants to go for the race lead, and he does. That outside lane worked an absolute treat for Meredith. He has set sail. Former champion back in season 3 years ago. So much has changed since the last time Meredith has been in victory lane. Wearing the camo in full force right now, and he has gotten to the front of the field. Eli Sasek has tagged the wall, and he is in trouble. He's got a lot of damage. Everyone's going to have to try to avoid him here. And it looks like, thankfully, it looks like everyone will. But you saw the bodywork flying for Sasek. He tagged the wall, and he has damaged that car. And one Ascent driver is down early on here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. That team fast, but it looks like unpredictable as things move forward early here. Sasek unable to do what Wygen and Flores did in correcting his car mid-corner. And you see the damage on the right side of that car, the front right, completely broken off. No turning angle whatsoever, no rotation whatsoever either. That is going to be a lengthy repair work for the 9 car as it comes down pit lane. Immediately going a lap down. Meredith and Stoltz lead the way. You see a little bit of a separation here behind Davis Muir Jr., 11th place at the moment as things currently sit. Eli Sasek was in that conversation. His issue forced a little bit of a checkup as well. Jeremy Brayalt got away with it. Ross Baxter in trouble as well. And Ross Baxter, he has spun on the back straightaway. No yellow, staying green so far. Trying to get that car back up and rolling for the South Carolina Beagle Racing team. He does get rolling. Out the front of the field, Josh Stoltz wants the lead right back, and will get it right back. Until Zach Meredith turns up the notch, finds another gear in turn 4 to keep clear. So Meredith preferring the outside lane. Stoltz not afraid to use the inside lane, though, in 3 and 4. Everyone single file, though, in the first couple corners of the lap. Casey Wygant recovering well. Dropped down to 8th after his near spin about 7 laps ago. Dropped down to 8th. Currently back up battling for the 4th spot right now with Josh Gaiman. Use the outside lane, build momentum, try to get some speed to take on Gaiman on the inside lane here in turns 3 and 4. The outside lane prevailing pretty early on here. Gaiman using it to defend. 2-car, Mark Kissenweather, points leader. Entering this race, sitting top 5 as well, that yellow and black machine. Elias Flores not doing bad either, though. Still struggling a little bit. Down at 6th, under pressure from Josh Susi. As Chelsea Carter loses a spot to the 54, David Smoot Jr. Carter in the 78. Remember, Flowers in Carter's normal machine, the 23 car. Both of them qualified together. Caution's out for the first time. And it is Bailey Thompson, your race winner last week, in trouble. Through the grass goes Thompson. And we'll take a look here in a moment as to what happened for caution number 1 on lap 15 here in Charlotte. But Thompson rolling through the grass. I believe it starts around the 27. We'll get a better idea as to what happened where. Looks like it could be between Thompson, Height, and Matt Vorndren, potentially. What do we have here? It is all on Matt Vorndren there. Thompson goes to the grass to avoid getting Denny and company there, but it is the 81 of Matt Vorndren that finds the wrong way round out of turn 4. Good view from up above. We'll grab another look here. This is Vorndren. He is up on the very upper lane. That's Callie Height in the 87. Nowhere really for Height or Alfred Denny to go. Bailey Thompson locks the brakes up to avoid running into her teammate there in the 21. And she'll go down to the inside lane. Matt Vorndren, for the most part, keeps it composed. Rolls to the grass as well. A little bit of damage for those 4 cars, all things considered. Mostly for Vorndren, Denny, and Callie Height. But big one avoided, but caution had already come out at that point. Vorndren 45 degrees sideways will force the reaction from the officials for the first yellow. We'll take another look. This is from onboard. On Bailey Thompson's machine. A little bit of contact there with the 21. Could be a lot worse, though. The 26th place car. As some cars come down pit lane. Onto this first caution of the night. Running on board with Callie Height here. And you see not a whole lot anyone can do there. Not a lot of damage on the 87. I think Callie Height had looks like a technical issue. Callie Height currently not on the racetrack, so something's gone wrong for the 87 anyway. We're up for Denny here. Yeah, he got a little bit out of that, especially getting sort of hip checked into the wall. A little bit of bumper cars. Once you're in that situation, nothing he can do. He's come down pit lane for some repair work at the moment. the pit lane after getting some repair work done as well, spending about 70 seconds on the pit lane. Alfred Denny sitting in the 38th spot. Eli Sasek, his day practically done. He's already been in pit lane now for 7 minutes, and he is still not moved. Callie Height off the racetrack as well with a technical failure that has been plaguing the 87 team all season so far. It is not very different here, unfortunately, for the 87. Good-looking car, unfortunately, currently stopped after just 15 laps. At the front of the field, it is Zach Meredith, Josh Stoltz, Mark Kissenweather, Josh Gaiman, and Josh Soucy, your top 5. Elias Flores, Davis Muir Jr., Chelsea Carter, Josh Arnold, and Shad Swatsworth, your top 10 for this first restart of the night. Stage 1 ends on lap 50. We'll race through it unless Akasha comes out for an accident. Most of the field stayed out on this first pit stop exchange, all the way down to 19th place stayed out. Sorry, all the way to the 20th stayed out. And then Christina Ryan, the one car, also stayed out as well, the 23rd place car, filling in for Dustin Hall. The pace car pulls back down pit lane so we can get back to racing here. It is Meredith and Stoltz. And Meredith brings us to the green flag. We're back underway in Charlotte. Filling out process begins again. Those that made pit stops have the ability to make in-car adjustments for the first time on a non-plate track. We'll see how that affects them. Some cars in that group, including Pacey Wygent, Cody Pinnell, Patrick Oberstadt, Bren Roberts, some really good cars, typically on the mile and a halfs, making some adjustments early on those pit stops on lap 16. See how quickly they can move forward here. Fresh tires as well will help them out a little bit. It is, though, Zach Meredith with clean air being key as well. He's got to hold off Mark Kissenweather. Points leader in second place right now behind the Season 3 champion so many moons ago. Stoltz down to third, trying to stay ahead of Josh Gaiman. Josh Soucy holding steady in the 5th spot as they enter turns 3 and 4 here on lap 21 of 208. Zach Apperson not having himself a bad day right now. Early on, he is in the top 12, battling with Shad Swatsworth for the 10th spot. It's very close in the margins outside the top 10. Very few points can help you move forward a lot. Trouble Meredith. Just like Michigan Season 3, Meredith has tagged the wall on a half spin out of turn 2 and has given the lead over to the 2 of Mark Kissenweather. Meredith drops down from the lead of the race to 36th on that half spin from the lead. Gaiman in trouble. Gaiman in trouble and in the fence. Trying to keep that car locked down off the racing surface. Still green flag. A little bit of a tag of the wall there on the inside. If barrier pushing him back out to the middle of the apron. He's trying to get rolling again in the paved runoff area. And turn 2 and 2 laps in a row has bitten 2 of the front-running drivers in this field. 3 wide, further back. Former teammates, still friends, but also competitors here. Blowers, Wygent. And Kyle Taub were in that 3 wide situation for a moment before it settled back down to 2 by 2. This is a traffic jam around Charlotte Motor Speedway behind the 4 of Zach Apperson. Apperson up to 8th. again. Right now, you look at those marked in yellow, Arnold and Steven Overstat. Right now, Arnold doing way better of the two, sitting in 4th place at the moment. Still a long way to go, but Arnold showing he is comfortable early with his number 12 Toyota. His teammate, Mark Kissenweather, leads the way. It is Toyotas 1 through 7. And the only non-Toyota is that number 4 car in 8th place. Toyotas make up all but 2 of the top 16, all but 3 of the top 18. Toyotas in full force here tonight. Unironically, the only DNQ, the only failure to qualify, also a Toyota. Car made in Georgetown, Kentucky, home state of ABN. Running large and in charge once again here at Charlotte, as they did last season when John Hagan grabbed his win en route to a championship. Ford needing to figure things out a little bit, as well as the Chevrolets. The best Chevrolet is down in 19th place. The bow ties and the blue ovals right now being ganged up on by Toyota. And Apperson having to carry the flag for the blue oval. And Tombstone Motorsports once again right now as things sit. Everyone figuring things out still. The more green flag racing we get, the better things go, though. Patrick Overstat has entered pit lane. One of the stronger running Chevrolets in pit lane for some sort of issue. I'm not seeing a lot of damage on that 88 car, but something is amiss on Patrick Overstat's machine. One of your only multi-time race winners so far this season is going to take quite a hit here in Charlotte as things run. Callie Height back on the racetrack, trying to get ahead of Patrick Overstat, being the only car off the lead lap at the moment. Callie Height at this particular point in time sitting in the 39th position, 3 laps down. Eli Sasek, his day effectively over, 14 minutes on pit lane. He has only completed 8 laps of this race. It has not been a great day for the Ascent team that started off so well. Their best car now currently in 8th, Josh Stoltz, battling with Zach Apperson and getting ahead there. That team struggling a little bit. Pacey Wygant, though, he was the first to make adjustments for the Ascent team. In that 00 machine, he's already back up into 11th place. He is knocking on the doorstep of the top 10, 31 laps in. We started this race down in 19th on the restart on lap 19. And he's got a little bit of company, Randy Payne, who did not come down pit lane under that lap 15 yellow. Right there with him, as is Kyle Taub, another Toyota, this time from Militia Racing Club. So right now, it is Militia Racing Club and NFG Motorsports dominating the airwaves. They have locked down the entire top 7. For Toyota, those two teams not working together under any circumstances, very much billing for the top Toyota team between these two at the moment here in Charlotte. Ascent typically in that conversation a little bit. They are pretty well detached right now, 33 laps in. Byron Jones makes it 2 Fords in the top 10. His number 60 for Coast to Coast. Sitting up in the 9th spot, having gotten around Randy Payne and Josh Stoltz. He'll continue to fall backwards in that 95 car. Long run pace currently not in that number 5 Red Bull Toyota. And Casey Wygant falling backwards as well. That 00 car was up in 11th, now back down in 13th place. Patrick Overstat back up and running, but losing way more time under green than Callie Height did with her technical issue under yellow. Callie Height 3 laps down, Patrick Overstat 6 laps down. Despite losing a similar amount of time on the racetrack in terms of like the stopwatch, there was between a minute 30 laps and 28-second laps is right there. Gaiman also a lap down at the moment, and he has gone a lap down without a pit stop here He is just struggling after that spin that saw him tag the wall about 15 laps ago. 15 laps ago here on lap 37 since that spin, and he has not gotten better. So for the first time, if you're not happy about your car, you can make an adjustment during your pit stop. You have a flurry of changes you can make to make that car better for you. And that's what Josh Gayman is going to need to rely on here. Going to need to rely on that veteran experience. Over 15 years on iRacing for Josh Gayman. He's seen a thing or two, and he's done a thing or two. You need to rely on all of that experience, that encyclopedia in his head. And the 61 team here tonight. Valkyrie Motorsports, though, will need that for both cars. The 61 and the 87, both now off the lead lap and struggling. Dean Clavitt has entered the pit lane. Car number 43. This is a 30-second pit stop, so a little bit of damage needed to be taken care of for Dean Clavitt. But he is out and away behind Josh Gayman. He's got a better-looking race car right now with that damage repair to try to chase down the 61 for that free pass position. Car that has come to a slide. We don't know who that was. I believe it was Steven Oberstadt, though. According to the information that we are seeing pop up on our timing screen, here he is in the number 3 machine. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. This is with Steven Oberstadt riding on board with him. This is replay, and yep, out of turn 2 once again. Tags the wall a little bit on that left rear. Shouldn't be too much damage, if any. But that's how you lose a whole bunch of spots. Down in 35th. Still on the lead lap, but barely. Right now as things sit. In the 35th position, Josh Arnold, his competitor in that Mid-Season Madness final, sitting in 4th. Baxter getting passed right now by Austin Mongold, trying to battle back on the outside lane. That is a battle for 26th, 27th, and 28th. All very familiar with each other through the ARCS competitions. And Cody Pennell losing out on that compared to both Mongold and Baxter. Also moving forward is the 99 Elias Flores, who started this race in the top 4 and currently sits down in 25th position. Not a great place for him to be given the high hopes this team had going into the night. Caution is out. Caution is out. I believe it's the one of Christina Ryan that we are seeing. A lot of cars in the grass. Christina Ryan. Only that was on her car, so it was not her, the one car. It looks like it actually might have been Meredith and Markowski. It's 17 to 33. Fine, there is Zach Meredith's machine. Doing a lot of damage there. Let's take a look here. And we see the later end of that. Ooh. Markowski got help out of turn 4. I'm not sure by who. We'll have to grab another replay of that. And he gets hit again. Not sure by who. There's a car having to dive to the inside lane. I believe Chelsea Carter also in the dirt there on that AstroTurf from the infield. So this is all where it starts here. We're going to move up to Dale Markowski's perspective here, the 33. Because he's had a little bit of help. Who was he helped by? We'll back it up. That is Bailey Thompson behind him. Use the blimp cam from high above. Yeah, Thompson just drifts up the racetrack just a little bit. It tags the 33. Open setup, but one of the flaws with this 7th generation car, you destabilize the car under any circumstance at the rear of the car, and there's not a lot you can do to save it. Markowski becomes a ride. Gets hit by Josh Stoltz there. You see the flaps on the car, the roof of the car to keep the car on the ground. Those deploy pretty well for Markowski. And Markowski outrun into, that's where Chelsea Carter got a piece of it. Hitting the 33 Markowski, and both of them now have some extension repair work to be done here on this caution. Second one of the night on lap 41. Pit lane. Overcar's on pit lane. Josh Stoltz still on pit lane as well. Jeremy Braille also still on pit lane. Car is looking for the wave around here. Patrick Overstap trying to get one of those 7 laps back, and Dean Clavitt trying to get his lap back here. Everyone come down pit lane on lap 43 for the second caution. We'll see them through to the end of stage 1 pretty easily. Stage 1 ends at lap 50 unless a caution comes out right after this restart. And with that, we'll step aside for about 30 seconds. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL 500 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Second caution of the night here on lap 43. We're now on lap 45, going to lap 46. As Mark Kissenweather leads the way here in Charlotte ahead of his teammate Josh Arnold. Josh Susie and Lindley Sharp make up your top 4 for this upcoming restart. Chad Swatsworth, Hunter Peach, your top 6. Rest of the field on the left side of your screen. For those split screening with us, joining us from Monday Night Football as well, it's been a scoreless game in Green Bay between the Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Still 0-0 in the second quarter. Defensive game there in Green Bay. It's all offense here in Charlotte. It is Kissenweather and Arnold leading the field to green. And away we go for the second restart of the night. Slower restart there allows Susie to get ahead and clear. Same with Swatsworth. But all 3 Militia Racing Club charters in the top 5 at the moment. Kyle Taub in 7th, non-chartered, but reinforcing the back end of the team standings in the 7th position. battling with Davis Moon Jr. Now, for the first time of the night, everyone's had a chance to make some in-car adjustments in the pit lane. A little bit of track bar, a little bit of wedge, a little bit of air pressure adjustments as well. You'll have to try to stay on top of the car. This is a race that'll convert from a day race to a night race during the event. You see the sun already beginning to set. What that means is that the track conditions will improve for the most part. The track will get cooler. What that means is that there's a challenge for the drivers and the teams to stay ahead of those adjustments. See if we can show you what we mean by that here. So bear with us for a second. Right side of your screen, that is the current track conditions here. See, it's in Celsius. It's not in Fahrenheit, which is what we need. with us for just a second. And caution's out for the third time, so we'll have to put that on hold. It is Matt Vorndren and Pacey Wygant, the 81 and the 00. Vorndren's second issue of the night on lap 50 to end the stage. Wygant in the grass here, and it looks like 81 might be stranded. He's going to come back down the racetrack here and try to get that car back rolling. Yeah, there could be some larger issues for that 00 car of Wygant. I'm not hearing any engine on that 00. That is a huge concern. This could be race done. There is engine on the 00, but it's very quiet. Both cars coming in for emergency service. Riding on board with them. So let's take a look as to what happened here on the third caution of the night. Car's just getting loose. It looks like Wygant got a little bit of help. That's where Vorndren got a piece of it. Let's take another look here from high above. A little bit of issue. That's Hunter Peach in the 20 car, just ahead on the left side of your screen. In the center, it's the 00 Wygant. That's the 54 of David Smoot Jr. And we'll play it in quarter speed. He'll be in slow motion here. And, yeah. I thought Wygant had just gotten loose and got help, but it looks like David Smoot Jr. tagged him from the left and then tags him from the right here. And puts him into the fence. And there's a good chance he gets away without a lot of damage here. But unfortunately, he's got a lot of the field coming to him. Kyle Taub gets lucky. Matt Vorndren tries to make a change late, going from the top to the bottom. And just couldn't commit to it enough. KJ Gibney gets close, but gets through. There's a lot of the Ascent cars right there in the pocket. Sawyer, Flores, Pereira. All just skating on through there. There's Matt Vorndren. Obviously, you saw him stranded, stationary. Right on board with him. You see the smoke. Tried to make that change just a little too late. Gets Beach there on the apron, the transition between the 24-degree banking for the corner and then the 3-degree banking for the apron. Makes that very difficult. And you see Wygant, your pole sitter, on pit lane. His race effectively over. Your top 5 entering stage 2. Mark Kissenweather, Josh Susi, Chad Swatsworth, Lily Sharp, and Randy Payne for this third restart of the night as we get ready to get back racing here in the BFL 500. Again, a reminder, stage 2 ends on lap 100. And then stage 3 covers the entire second half plus of the race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lights on the pace cars means we're getting ready to go back racing here tonight. The third restart of the night. And we think it's applicable to kick off stage 2 with a crank it up here in Charlotte. Let's go racing. 10 laps to crank it up there in Charlotte for stage 2. You saw the battle between teammates Blake Henderson and Zach Apperson. Henderson moving forward up 19 spots. A few cars have moved up a little bit more than Henderson, but he is having a good run now in stage 2 so far, after missing out on stage points in stage number 1. Bryn Roberts having 28 positions gained from the start of this race, up to 12. Not far behind this conversation in the top 10. Really sharp, up 22 spots. Your biggest gainer, though, Hunter Peach, up 29 spots in this race from 32nd to 3rd. The Abilene, Texas native. Right now sits ahead of Josh Susie, his teammate there, but it is Militia Racing Club leading the 1-2. Mark Kissenweather and Chad Swatsworth, 2 race winners already at the front of the field. Hunter Peach and Josh Susie trying to bring NFG Motorsports its first win in Season 7. They're sitting 3rd and 4th ahead of Lily Sharp, so NFG Motorsports 3rd, 4th, and 5th as things currently sit. The conversation for the midseason madness has taken a tumble. Both drivers in the final there in the midseason tournament. Down 20th and 26th. It is Steven Oberstadt leading that conversation, though, in 20th spot. Josh Arnold falling backwards. The adjustment made on his number 12 machine not helping him at all at the moment. Few cars on pit lane for the longest time, now back out and rolling. Matt Vorndren back out and rolling, but he is 11 laps down. Pacey Wygant still on pit lane, as is Eli Sasek. 2 of the Ascent cars in trouble. That's the 6 of Chad Swatsworth getting loose out of turn 2 and drops down to 4th. That is one obstacle for NFG Motorsports cleared out of the way for Hunter Peach and Josh Susie. I'm going to bring up the graphic bottom left of your screen. It's important to note here, neither Peach nor Susie have won here at Charlotte. Hunter Peach was close to winning at his home racetrack, but couldn't seal the deal there 3 weeks ago. Josh Susie, a dominant force here in HTL, 2-time champion, has also never won here in the BFL 500. Chad Swatsworth down to 4th place. Josh Susie up to 3rd. Hunter Peach now up to 2nd. 30 spots gained for the 20 car here so far tonight. And they are right there with Kissenweather at the front of the field. Mark Kissenweather, though, he has looked outstanding. Of the 68 laps run so far, he's led 34 of them. Started this race in the top 5. Not take too awful long to get to the race lead, and has held it pretty well ever since he grabbed it. That is Markowski going another lap down. And that's the 3 car getting out of the way of the race leaders. That'll put him, actually I believe Markowski just went a lap down for the first time, so he is 1 lap down now in the free pass spot, so that's why he's not struggling too awful hard on that. He is the only one in that conversation at the moment. Josh Gaiman, half a lap behind him in the 61 car, also 1 lap down, but still a distance away from Markowski at the moment. Three cars in a battle for the front of the field. Blake Henderson leading this battle. 7th place against Randy Payne. As they also now deal with Markowski. That's a little bit of a smoke show out of turn 2. Let's see if we can figure out who it was. Not Jeremy Braille, it doesn't look like. I'm not sure who it was. This battle continues on the fringe of the top 10 from 7th all the way down to about 14th place. And you have Zach Meredith a little bit off the door of Davis Muir Jr. in the 15th spot at the moment. Former winner of this race back in season 4. In season 3, season he won the championship. My apologies. This is one of Meredith's 2 wins. Back in season 3, he won at Michigan, his spin to win at Michigan. And then he won here. And you see his stat line going into tonight. 86 starts, 2 wins, both of those 3 years ago at this point. 13 top 5s, 33 top 10s. In those 86 starts, he was part-time for most of last season. Becoming a father for the first time. Now back running full-time in the 17 car. And sitting right now in a good position playoff-wise. 12th in points going in. 15th right now helps him out compared to the trouble some have had tonight. And he has closed in on this battle to get into the top 10. There's trouble behind, and it is Josh Arnold. Markowski involved as well. Steven Oberstadt also involved. Both of your mid-season madness finalists involved here in the 4th caution of the night on lap 73. And that is several cars for Carolina Beagle Racing. Markowski, Steven Oberstadt, Patrick Oberstadt, all involved. 2 of those cars a lap down. But it looks like it may have started with the 3 of the 12. We'll have to see who it was. It looks like it might start with the 3. But the 4th caution of the night, midway through stage number 2. It's got several cars wrapped up in it. So let's take a look at what happened here. Blimp cam. This is on Josh Arnold. Let's move it to Steven Oberstadt. And it is with the 3 that it starts. The 3 car gets loose out of turn 2. The trouble corner. There is Josh Arnold right there on the scene. And both of your mid-season madness finalists involved here early. In the first half here in Charlotte. Clavitt hits the wall hard too, the 43. Not an easy hit for him. You see Oberstadt largely avoids any additional melee on that. That's where you look at like Josh Arnold and the company that gets a little bit spicier. So we had to go at speed here, riding on board with the 12th place, number 12 car. If I could read. He tries to save it, tags the inside wall instead. Markowski doesn't make contact with him, just spins trying to avoid him. Patrick Oberstadt slams the brakes trying to avoid his teammate. And Arnold, but it's a little bit of damage there on that left front. Or just very easy brake settings there. Couldn't avoid hitting the 88. Trouble again for Arnold here. You saw this before we went to replay. Very difficult. Trying to get these cars going. Obviously frustration building, being involved in an incident like that. Not going to help the situation. You see those cars leaving now pit lane. Arnold in the 28th spot. Steven Oberstadt, his rival in that mid-season madness tournament. Fighting for the cash prize there, sitting at 29th. Both those cars now wounded. In front of the field, though, Bailey Thompson, winner of Chicago a week ago. Leading the field once again. Mark Kisselweather's been the dominant car tonight. Thompson trying to get forward its first lap sled tonight, and currently doing so under caution. Everyone made pit stops there on lap 74. Thompson with 2 tires on that stop, the only 2-tire stop taker in the field that I can see. And that is correct. Only 2-tire stop taken by the 27. Everyone else took 4 tires and got an adjustment on the way. So a bit of an interesting call by the 27 crew that were needing track position. They were not sitting pretty going into that last caution here, the 4th of the night. And will now try to lead the 4th restart ahead of one of the more dominant cars here in Charlotte tonight. It is Thompson, Kissenweather, Peach, Swatsworth, Susie, your top 5. Green flag flies for the 4th time. Let's go racing. Two-tire stop now helping Thompson retain the race lead. Kissenweather gets through pretty easily. And now here comes Hunter Peach. Hunter Peach and Josh Susie inside lane. Swatsworth stuck behind the 27 at Thompson, who now has a tire deficit. The left side tires not changed on the 27. And Swatsworth slots in between the teammates there for NFG Motorsports to get around the 27 at Thompson, who I believe is beginning to regret that decision just a little bit. Was sitting down in the 17th position prior to the caution and has a chance now of losing way more spots than that, with everyone else on 4 fresh tires here trying to ride through realistically the last 20 laps of stage 2. Kyle Taub cuts Thompson to break there, knowing that that's going to happen. Thompson just can't hold the white line in 3 and 4. Just a little bit of understeer. You can make some adjustments in the car, but a lot of that's related to your brake bias. It's not going to help you at speed. And trouble! That was Randy Payne, turned. And this is a big one. They went 3, and it didn't work out, and it is a car park out of turn 2. Absolute car park out of turn 2. Everyone was trying to get around Thompson, and people lost patience. Randy Payne was in the middle and got turned. We'll have to see by who. We'll look at the replay in a moment. And the car park sorts itself out before the field comes back around. But that is trouble. And what Thompson was trying to avoid, she became the epicenter of for the 5th caution of the night on lap 81. Car coming down pit lane. That is one of the Carolina Bugle machines. I'm not sure if that was Vorendren or Markowski. I believe it was Vorendren, the 81. And we're going to need to take a really strong look at this. And we'll look at it first from the blimp cam at ABN slow motion quarter speed. And the caution's already taken place here. That's where the contact is. It looks like it's actually KJ Gibney, the 31, that initiates the first contact. Similar looking number font to the Carolina Bugle cars. But you see it's already underway. And we'll back it up here so we can kind of see how this all develops. This is going into turn 1 and 2 here on lap 81. ABN slow motion, Randy Payne in the 91, KJ Gibney in the 31, Thompson in the 27. Gibney's not alongside Payne yet. Goes below the white line there, try to get alongside. And none of them make it through as a result. There is Zach Meredith. He's got nowhere to go in all of this. There's the 25 Henderson. He's going to help out Gibney and sending him up the racetrack, it looks like here. Yeah, he does. Apperson gets clear. Looks like Flores gets clear. Hard hit for Gibney. And the ping pong battle begins. Stoltz checks all the way up. successfully. Christina Ryan gets turned around by Lily Sharp. You see that in the foreground there as well. And sort of is a bad 3-wide call. Collects more than a dozen cars here in stage 2. Leaving a lot of work to be done in the field. Thompson rolling out of pit lane now. Henderson believes he's fine. He got a little bit of contact out of that. We can see on our camera he is not fine. There's a decent amount of damage on the front end of that car from the contact he made with KJ Gibney in that caution. His teammate behind him, Zach Apperson, though, does look fine. But unfortunately, Henderson does not have any teammates in front of him to rely on that information. He's just hoping for the best here in that car. The biggest concern for Henderson now is radiator damage. You do not want your engine to overheat. If you have radiator damage, there's just no way to cool it down, even in clean air. So that is the huge concern right now. No such concerns at the front of the field. The Toyota 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. 8 of the top 10 Toyotas. 2 Fords in the top 10. Henderson and Apperson teammates there for Tombstone Motorsports. Your best bow tie, Chevrolet, in row 6. Cody Pennell, 12th place on this restart alongside Lily Sharp, who got away without any damage after that contact with Christina Ryan. A lot of cars damaged. Ultimately, 17 cars with damage in some form and degree from the 5th caution of the night. We are less than 20 laps away from the end of stage number 2. Getting ready for this restart. The 5th one of the night. Green flag flies, and we're back underway for the PFL 500. Teammates 1 and 2 from Militia Racing Club. Hunter Beach trying to break that up in the 3rd spot. That 20 car goes to the bottom. Spots with outside lane momentum carries him ahead and stays clear of the 20. As everyone gets back to work here in Concord, North Carolina. Keep an eye on that outside lane. Kyle Taub up there in the 56. Actively in the Air Force is 56 car Kyle Taub. And currently sitting top 5. Is not going to miss this race, running part-time though this season, not in the championship conversation. Having a good time though tonight with the open setup. He's ahead of Davis Knuth Jr. in the 54. For just a moment, got a little arrow loose out of turn 2. Turn 2, the tricky track. Down the back straightaway. And will be a couple spots lost. There goes the 23 of Bobby Blowers as well to the inside. Taub holds him off. And we'll pull up the weather here, this time in Fahrenheit. And all the Freedom units, 75 degrees. The air temperature, the track temp down to 82 degrees. Track temp started at 104 degrees. So the drivers have had to adjust to that and make adjustments to those cars accordingly, and they'll have to continue to do that as the temperature continues to fall. That is Markowski on the apron coming back down pit lane. Obviously, his car has had some pretty grave injuries in this race. The 33 car not doing well here tonight. 8-mile-an-hour winds, though, that is the important factor here to keep in mind. It is a crosswind out of turn 2 and out of turn 4. But it's a crosswind pushing out towards the wall in turn 2. It's pushing down the racetrack in turn 4. So it's helping people in turn 4 by quite a bit, but it's hurting people a lot in turn 2. And the drivers will feel that. a lot in this car, more than the Gen 6 or the Gen 4 that we see on our screens typically here on ABN. Due to the flat floor and the diffuser at the back of the car, a lot of that grip is generated at the rear. So when you have things like a higher wind speed, 9-mile-an-hour wind now in the cross section in turn 2, that will affect the cars quite a bit. A good look there is what the drivers are dealing with, air rise with the weather, and that is all important. And the drivers will need to stay on top of that here tonight. Flowers knows that very well, and he's doing a good job with it. He's up to 7th place, started this race top 10. He's ahead of Zach Apperson, who needed a good result after a pretty bad skid of races after his win at Talladega. Dropped out of the top 12 and out of the top 16. He's 17th in points going in, and right now sitting pretty good at the moment in 8th. If he can hold on to this, it's stage points in a really good position for the rest of this race. Byron Jones sitting in the last points paying position in stage 2 in 10th right now, trying to stay that way ahead of Josh Stoltz. Tucker Sawyer, his open setup has been working out for him. He's up to the 12th spot. He's been a slow climber. This is the 97 car, but he's up to 12th. He's ahead of Blake Henderson. Henderson under threat from his teammate for tonight, Christina Ryan, running a throwback to Jimmy McMurray. The number 1 car filling in for Dustin Hall, the normal driver of that 1 car. This race kind of important. Home race for Christina Ryan as she moves around Henderson for that 13th spot. Christina Ryan's only made 2 prior starts to this. Got a top 5 and a top 10. That was back in Le Mans season 4. So it's been quite a bit since she's been on the racetrack and in a good spot here, trying to race forward. Not a lot of experience in the Gen 7 car. Not her most favorite car. But she is wheeling and dealing like we know she can here on ABN. As mentioned at the top of the show, former world champion on ABN. And rolling around, that's the lap car behind. That's KJ Gibbon between Ryan and Henderson. Nose to tail at the top of the board is Kissenweather, Susie, Peach, your top 3. Swatsworth 4th, David Smooth Jr., your top 5. As they continue to lead the way on the way to the end of stage 2. Kissenweather looking for the stage sweep. He won stage 1. Trying to win stage 2, grab those 20 stage points if he can. Josh Susie closing in though. See if he can ride on board with him. '24 car trying to apply the pressure. Militia Racing Club 1st and 4th. NFG Motorsports 2nd, 3rd, 5th. Teams occupy the entire top 6 at the moment as things sit. See him dance around just a little bit there in turn 2. Kissenweather goes to the middle of the racetrack. Susie goes to the bottom there in 4. Fun little dynamic we're seeing here, trying to take each other's lanes away. Kissenweather trying to sort of mirror where Susie's been running. Trying to slow down progress there, trying to use dirty air from the back of his car to slow down the 24. And Susie knows that. He's still running his line. That time, Kissenweather stayed in the inside lane. Susie drafted it right up to his bumper. And meanwhile, Susie, while he's looking at the windshield, also has to look out the mirror because his teammate not far away. And Kissenweather gives it up himself. A bobble out of turn 2. We saw him dance around the last couple laps from the onboard there with the 24, and it finally cost him. As at the end of stage number 2, white flag in the stage. And it'll give NFG the 1-2 that they were looking for in this stage. So there will not be a stage sweep here in Charlotte. For Mark Kissenweather, Josh Susie will grab some very needed stage points for him. But he would love, even more than that, a race win. We've got a long way to go. We're not even halfway. Josh Susie wins stage 2 here in Charlotte. And we keep racing. Remember, no stage breaks. There will be stage breaks next week at Atlanta. Stage breaks only on the plate races and the road courses here in HTL. Susie grabs the 10 bonus points by winning stage number 2. And now he's got the cleanest racetrack of them all right now. Pretty good green flag run going on at the moment. So let's go ahead and roll our way through the field, beginning with your race leader up from 15th on the starting grid. Did not qualify well. The former 2-time champion of the series. We saw him make his way to the front of the field, thanks in part to the mistake from Kissenweather. And now Kissenweather trying to battle. It's now 2-on-2, and it's NFG with the positions right now, first and second. Susie leading the way. His teammate Hunter Peach right behind him, moving up from 32nd to second. 30 spots gained, the most of any driver so far in this race. Not by much. To be said, not by much. Christina Ryan in trouble. Caution's out. Christina Ryan not the one in trouble there. I believe it was Ross Baxter in trouble. And it is. So hold that thought through the field. Stage 2 in the books already. So we're in stage 3, and Ross Baxter. That looks like a really damaged race car for the 38. And I have a feeling that car is done for the day. He will join Eli Sasek and Pacey Wygen and Dean Clavitt in the retirement line, as well as KJ Gibson. Let's go ahead and take a look what happened here to Ross Baxter. That is Zach Meredith right behind him. I don't think Meredith has a piece of this. Struggling in turns 3 and 4. This is unloading out of turn 4, getting ready to. Does Meredith get clear on this? Looks like it. So Meredith gets lucky here. What happens? Oh, this is what happens to Baxter. That's the pit attenuator. Smacks the back of that car around. That's a justifiable caution right there. That is a car stranded on the bottom of the racetrack on the exit of the corner. And this is where the cameras picked him up on the live feed. As he was trying to get that car back rolling. A lot of damage on that left rear. Will ultimately end the day of Ross Baxter after the lap 100 mark, right before the halfway point on lap 104. Looks like he was fighting that car a decent amount going in. I'm right on board with him here. He fights it early on the unload. Tries to avoid the pit wall. To no avail. And that will likely end Baxter's day here. He will join a retirement list that is beginning to slowly grow 5 cars here. 2 cars staying out on this exchange, and it is the teammates there for Team 7 Motorsports. Christina Ryan leading laps for the first time in her HTL career. Very brief HTL Cup Series career. She will lead lap for the first time ahead of Bailey Thompson, both of them staying out here on this caution cycle, the 6th of the race, as we cross over into the second half here in North Carolina. Zach Apperson will make it a 1-2-3 for Team 7 Motorsports to begin this second half. He took a 2-tire stop, I do believe. Yes, he did. It did not work for Thompson before. Apperson going to give it a try now that the track's a little bit cooler. He's alongside former 2-time champion Josh Soucy in row 2. Mark Gissenweather and Hunter Beach in row number 3. Davis Buick Jr., Kyle Taub, row 4. Bobby Flowers and Shad Swatsworth, row 5. Your top 10 for this restart on lap 107, 6th of the race. Stars and Stripes are out in full force on the racetrack, on the cars. No more stage points on offer. It is get up and go all the way to lap 208 here in Charlotte. For those tuning in, we're glad you're with us here for the longest race of the season in HTL. Step into the unknown's been pretty successful so far. We'll see how it changes as we get ready to go back racing here in Concord, North Carolina. It is hometown driver Christina Ryan going green, leading us to racing, and wheel spin gives Thompson the lead early. Christina Ryan not ready for those worn tires. And it gives Thompson the advantage, but here comes Josh Soucy, going to try to find a way around. 27 of the 24 had run-ins last season, most notably at Michigan, when both of them were trying to go for the race win. 2 by 2 they remain. Apperson, remember, he had a 2-tire stop, and he's been put 3 wide in the middle. Dangerous position for Apperson. Thompson leads. 2 tires better than old tires. 4 tires better than 2. And here comes Soucy to the bottom. Car running down on the apron. I do believe that was Callie Height who got back on the lead lap. Waiting for this all to settle out before we try to go through the field again and be interrupted by another yellow. Soucy, though, at the front of the field. Peach also around Thompson here. Taub up next, and we'll do so out of turn 2. Thompson, Ryan, and Apperson all making gambles for Tombstone, trying to make something happen for that team. They've unfortunately just been behind the back foot here in Charlotte. They were hoping to have some really good results here. They've had pace. Anderson and Apperson have had pace all night. It just hasn't come together here, and the gamble has not paid off. Apperson already out of the top 10. Christina Ryan down in 9th, Thompson in 7th, and dropping pretty quickly here. Outside lane, that is Swatsworth around Ryan, and immediately putting in a beeline on Thompson, trying to move up into the 8th spot. There's Josh Stoltz. There is Byron Jones, Tucker Sawyer. Everyone taking advantage of the bad strategy call here. And if you're the 1, the 27, or the 4, it is hang on tight because you've got a long way to go. The bleeding will stop at some point. We'll figure out when that is and where they'll end up here. Remember, the 27 and the 1 will now be the first cars down pit lane under green flag pit stops if we get them before the next caution. We've not had green flag pit stops yet in this race. We've had some good runs, just not long enough for a green flag pit stop. That window that we mentioned before, 49 to 51 laps. We've not had a green flag stop cycle that long yet. We've had a green flag cycle of about 35, 36 laps in this race. It's not the full pit cycle yet. That could change, though. Josh Susi leads the way. So let's go ahead and try to break down through the field while we can. At least try to get to the top 10 here. Susi up from 15th to 1st. Recovered him early on. Hunter Peach and Mark Kissenweather likely where they were before that sixth caution. Hunter Peach, we talked about him from 32nd to 2nd, looking for the chance at the race lead, but his teammate going to have a vice grip on that pretty well. Ross Baxter trying to come out of pit lane, and that car's still damaged, still crab walking on the apron there in turn 1. That car is effectively done. And I think Baxter now just trying to make it back to pit lane, not able to really get that car to a raceable condition with the damage received when he hit the pit attenuator. Hunter Peach sitting in 2nd, up 30 spots. Biggest mover so far, but not by much. We'll talk about that in a second. Mark Kissenweather from 3rd position at the moment. Started this race in 5th. Led a healthy chunk of laps, almost 50 laps led in this race so far. To the first 115. But now sitting behind the NFG Motorsport teammates as Davis Muir Jr. tries to go and make it a 1-2-3 for NFG Motorsports. He is up to 4th and 12th, just now getting around Kyle Taub. Doing a good job at the moment. Kyle Taub in the top 5, and trouble behind. That's his teammate. That is Shad Swathworth. Dropping from the top 10. He'll drop all the way down to 17th or lower. So not all is well with Militia Racing Club. Shad Swathworth, a race winner from Daytona to start off the season, will have some work to do now to get back up close to that top 10. Swathworth down in 19th place, so he dropped healthily, down 11 spots. Bobby Flowers was the wonder child from a week ago in Chicago, the race that he lost in the most unfortunate of circumstances. But we know how good he is. And he's filling in the 23 car. An uncharted entry. Qualified top 10, qualified in the 10th spot, row 5, alongside Chelsea Carter, who's normally in that car, and has stayed pretty well top 10 all race long. He's in 8th right now. In 6th right now. Not a bad run. Byron Jones, likewise, has been top 10 most of this race since the first stage. Started this race down in 18th, though. Coast to Coast did not qualify well. But they are racing pretty well at the moment. Josh Stoltz qualified 4th, dropped a lot of spots early, involved in an early incident with Dale Markowski, but has recovered nicely up to the 8th spot at the moment, continuing to climb right now as the Ascent Racing team's best car in the field at the moment. Chelsea Carter sitting in 9th, qualified 9th in the 78 for Richard Odie Racing. Filling in for Richard Odie, is normally in that car, putting Chelsea Carter in. Chelsea Carter, you see the flag, North Carolina, also a hometown driver here, along with Christina Ryan and a couple others. And right now doing a really good job of that. Tucker Sawyer is now matched. 30 spots gained by Hunter Peach. He's also up 30 spots. Started this race, qualified 40th. And that's exactly where he started. He's made his way all the way up to the 10th spot with some room to run still. He's closed in on the 78, trying to make things happen here. He's grown as a driver here as the caution comes out for Patrick Overstadt. Overstadt already a lap down, and he is already towed. And I believe that is day done for Overstadt. He is completely gone. And we will take a look as to why. Unfortunately for Overstadt, a day that went from not great to bad to horrible to done. And we'll take a look as to why. This is Patrick Overstadt on your screen. On his own, it looks like here. It actually looks like this looks like he's coming to a stop to end his race. Something's happened before this. Something has happened well before this, I do believe. So we're going to need to back this up because he was off the lead lap pretty well and truly already. And that's what happened. Okay. So he found it. This is in a fight here. Not really in a fight for position. That is Angel Santiago, the 90, to his inside. Markowski behind him. That is Elias Flores ahead of him. Does he just snap loose and tag the wall? We'll find out. Yeah, he does. He just snaps loose. Almost hits Santiago there. Doesn't. Avoids his teammate Markowski as well. And tags the wall, but he can tell that the car is broken from there. And he's already gone 10 laps down at this point. So he's just called it a day. But because he parked on the pit exit, the caution was drawn. But he didn't feel like he could make it the pit lane safely, so he called it a stop. So he joins the retirement queue. And that gives us our 7th caution of the race here in Charlotte. It is Josh Soucy that leads over Hunter Peach, David Smith Jr., and Josh Stoltz. Your top 4 right now. Everyone making 4 tire stops here. 2 different attempts to make 2 tire stops work have failed miserably so far. Everyone seeing the process of elimination there from Tombstone Motorsports, the guinea pigs for that evaluation. Bailey Thompson couldn't make it work. And then before Zach Apperson, the most recent to try it, also didn't make any headroads in that either. And with that, we'll step aside for 30 seconds for a little bit of refreshment and a word from one of HTL's longtime sponsors here for the PFL 500. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL 500, the Blankenship Great Lions 500, 7th time it's been run in HTL. A heritage event, a crown jewel event in HTL. As we get ready to go racing once again. 7th restart of the night coming up here. And here's your top 5, bottom of your screen. Josh Soucy, Hunter Peach, and David Smith Jr., teammates there. In the top 4. Josh Schultz and Tucker Sawyer, also teammates for Ascent Racing. They've made their way back to the top 5. A long climb for them in this race so far. Also in the top 5, Chelsea Carter will start 5th. Tucker Sawyer technically 6th on this upcoming restart here. As we get ready to go racing, the stage is out of the way. Less than 100 laps to go here in Charlotte for the BFL 500. It's the former 2-time champion looking for his first win in this marquee event. And we get back underway, and a great restart from Soucy earmarks it. In the hunt once again. Fresh tires for everybody as well. There's a complete lap 125 at 2:08. Everyone's still trying to figure things out here. Mark Gizmother, he has had a pretty abysmal into stage 2, start of stage 3. Right now he's sitting in the 7th spot, trying to fight around both Lily Sharp and Tucker Sawyer. Some other tag at the wall there, trying to find his way around, trying to force his way around Sharp and Chelsea Carter. And ultimately does so. Here comes the 23 of Bobby Blowers. Inside lane for the 23, outside lane for the 2. You can tell adjustments were made for the nighttime, and the 2 car surging forward. I was going to say charging forward, but then changed it there last second. Surging forward, the 2 car up to 4th. Now trying to chase down the 1, 2, 3 of NFG Motorsports. All 4 of those cars in the top 10. Lily Sharp, the furthest back of the bunch in 7th. And if you're looking for action in a night that's been very devoid of it on Monday Night Football, you've come to the right spot. 7 cautions, a lot of green flag running as well here for the marquee event in Charlotte. For those that have chosen us over Monday Night Football, thank you so much. It's 3-0 in the 3rd quarter. Philadelphia winning a very tight defensive game over the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. Again, all the relevant sports scores bottom of your screen, including the game we just talked about, the Monday Night Football game between Philadelphia and Green Bay in the 3rd. You're also in our 3rd quarter of this race, lap 130 in the books. Josh Susie, your race leader. Mark Kisselmother, he's led 63 laps today. Not a bad mark, but he's a little bit off of it. And whoa, trouble! Trouble! Cars in the infield. That is Smeal and Kissenweather together. Parked on the infield. No caution yet. And they're trying to get rolling without drawing a caution here. Trying to keep the race up and running, and it's going to affect both of them very negatively here, down to 28th and 29th. Smeal's not going to be happy about that, but I believe that was latency. That was net code between the 2 and the 54. And thankfully, I think we've got a replay queued up on it. And we'll start in slow motion here. Live pictures here. We're still under green. We'll let you know if that changes. Smeal drifts up the racetrack just a little bit. Kissenweather knows that he's got to run. It's hard to tell from this angle here from the blimp. Blimp station above the front straightaway. See if we can get a better angle. See if we run on board with Kissenweather here. This is on board with the 2. It's close. It's close. It's very, very, very close. Let's see if there's actual contact or there's just net code finishing the deal. But both of them come to a very sudden stop here on the back straightaway. And props to both of them for avoiding bringing up the yellow there and getting back up and running. 28th and 29th on the grid, certainly in the standing at the moment. Not what they were hoping for, especially given they were both firmly in the top 5. And Kissenweather having such a good car, charging forward on that restart. Now feels like it is all for nothing at the moment. And now they're hoping for an 8th caution. The thing that they actively avoided bringing out, they now need. Josh Susie, very thankful for it. So is Hunter Peach, as is Bobby Blowers and Byron Jones, the top 4 at the moment. Both of them moving out of the way also gives way to Zach Meredith. He joins the top 5, just now getting around Lily Sharp. Sharp in 6th. Chad Swatsworth, he's recovered from his half spin that moved him down to 21st. He is up to 7th place once again in his number 6 Toyota. And then Bren Roberts, he has now become the biggest mover. He's up 31 spots in that 83 car. Qualified in 39. up to 8th in tonight's race so far here in Stage 3. Everyone, once again, in a rhythm here in Charlotte, trying to make things work out. Nighttime is the right time for some. Everyone knows they've got one more pit stop to make here in this race to get to the end. Whether or not it'll be under green or not is to be determined. Things are looking pretty good at the moment. Glenn Roberts. And Josh Susie, I think Susie just had a technical failure. From the lead of the race, Josh Susie just had a technical failure. He is falling down the order. He is out. He is off the racetrack with a technical failure. We had one earlier, Callie Height, who made it back to the lead lap, got back on the racetrack, got lapped back, got back on the lead lap. Callie Height sitting in 21st now. Her former teammate, Josh Susie, now on the receiving end of a technical failure, and it opens the race lead up. Here comes former teammates, Byron Jones and Hunter Peach, side by side. The 60 of Jones, the 20 of Peach, the 17 of Meredith, Byron Jones' teammate. It's all the friends at the front of the field. 1, 2, and 3. Bobby Flowers in 4th, Shad Swatsworth in 5th. Talked about it, Toyota's dominated the early half of this race. Fords have come alive, and it's the coast-to-coast racing duo that have brought the blue ovals to the front of the field under green flag conditions. Tombstone led under yellow. Coast-to-coast leading under green. Byron Jones looking for his first career HTL win. Zach Meredith looking for his first in 3 years. Likewise, Hunter Peach looking for a race win. Sitting equal with Meredith on the race win column with 4 less starts. 86 starts entering the night, 87 now, including the night for Meredith, 83 for Peach. Byron Jones tried to get to the race lead, couldn't do so, fell down to 3rd place. As Swatsworth gets around Flowers for 4th. Jones in the pole has 1 top 5 in 29 starts. Doing really good so far in that 60 car, sitting in 3rd. Josh Gaiman, he's also recovered nicely. Went a lap down early in this race, also got laps back. Used the wave around to do so. He is now sitting top 7 ahead of Brent Roberts, Bailey Thompson, and Kyle Taub. Thompson now back on a symmetrical strategy with everybody else. That 27 car does have pace. Single file, though, the first roughly 18 cars as everyone sits mid-cycle here. Obviously, all of this taking place right here out of the top 5. Lily Sharp just tagged the wall, riding on board with her. Looking back at Gaiman. Here's Gaiman on the charge. Air Force inspired paint scheme. Gets clear with no issues. And Thompson drops down to the 7th spot now. Gaiman right now currently the highest running Chevrolet. Bren Roberts not far behind in 9th. Kelly Thompson sitting in the 8th spot, trying to close in on Sharp as well. Race winner in Chicago moved into the top 12 in points for the first time this season. And looking to continue that run. Meanwhile, front of the field, new race leader, Zach Meredith. Lap car, Pereira, staying high, out of the way. And Zach Meredith looking for a second win here in the BFL 500. He won his championship season 3. Doing a good job so far, leading the way. Hunter Peach in 2nd, Swadsworth up to 3rd. Byron Jones now down in 4th place, ahead of Josh Gaiman, who's made his way around Bobby Blowers to make it into the top 5. Likewise, Willie Sharp in trouble. Everyone trying to get around Pereira, the lap car. He's trying to stay in the upper lane. He's trying to be courteous at this point. Knows that there's traffic coming. And we are getting closer to a full run here. Last caution came out of lap 120. We are on lap 152. There is a slate of cars that pit on lap 104 that will need to make pit stops here in the next 4 to 5 laps. And that will be their last pit stop of the night. Willie Sharp will be one of those. Coming down pit lane on lap 1, coming down pit lane before lap 160, but it will be her last pit stop of the race. Same will be said for Hunter Peach. He's up in 2nd right now. 20 lap older tires compared to those around him. Came down pit lane on lap 104. Hanging in there right now with Zach Meredith. We'll talk about the open setups and the ability to customize and adjust a lot more of the cars that we have been allowed before in the HTL Cup Series. What does that mean? It means this. In typical circumstances, older tires means you're kind of just done. And we've seen that a fair amount tonight. Obviously, we saw it with Bailey Thompson and Christina Ryan when they stayed out. We've seen it with the 2-tire stop attempts from Thompson earlier and then Apperson after that, and how those didn't work. What works is here, where you have 2 different strategies in play. Obviously, they have tuned to these strategies pretty well. The difference between NFG and Coast to Coast in this conversation has allowed Hunter Peach to stay in this conversation at the front of the field with 20-lap older tires. He pit on lap 104. Meredith and Swadsworth, they both pit on lap 121. Hunter Peach is the only driver on that older strategy, needing to come down pit lane soon. That pit on lap 104, the next closest is Sharp in 12. She's dropped out of the top 10 altogether, now under threat from Christina Ryan. Cody Pinnell, Blake Henderson, Josh Stoltz, also on that lap 104 stop cycle, but not in the top 10. Open setups allow you to adjust things a little bit better to your liking. Hunter Peach obviously knew what he was going for with his car tonight to be able to battle with Meredith and Swadsworth on those fresher tires despite the deficit. The open setups allow you to have the better optimization, the optimization to your driving style that has been missing in HTL outside the plate tracks the last couple seasons. Now it's available here, and it'll be available again next week in Atlanta, another plate track, but obviously a lot smaller, as well as at Pocono, which will be a very interesting race. It typically is an HTL, and then at Kentucky in 3 weeks, ABM's home racetrack. Josh Susi did give us a report, though. Just gave us a report, obviously retired with a technical failure. In quote-unquote, I've officially lost the race every way possible. Someone killed a transformer near me and killed my power grid. He believes he had the best long-run car by a mile, saving fuel while leading. And here comes pit stops for Peach and company. Some made pit stops a lot earlier. Flowers comes down pit lane as well. This will get them to the end of the race. This is 50 laps to the end of the race exactly. Zach Meredith will go about 20 laps further. Pizza and Wings podcast, part of the group that Zach Meredith is a part of, watching this race as well. We had a comment in response to Josh Susi, the guy who's the Transformer, had the best short-run car. Hopefully everyone is safe if that is the case. Obviously no idea if that is actually the case or not. But if that is, hopefully everyone is safe there in Maine. It has been very wintry, a lot of snow in the Midwest and the northeastern New England states. So hopefully everyone is safe across the board. More pit stops underway. Everyone being off cycle here. We'll go through it in a moment, letting everyone have a chance to cycle through here with less than 50 laps to go. We're at 48 laps at this point. And it is Zach Meredith sitting in third behind Chad Swatsworth and Josh Gaiman. So his car has fallen off at the end of this run. But here comes Josh Gaiman. Josh Gaiman, long ways away from this stat line that we saw. 6 wins, 6 poles. A lot of that happening season 3 and season 4. He's not had the ability to replicate the success he had early on in the HTL ABM partnership here. But a chance to come back on an open setup and show what he's been craving, what so many drivers in this series have been craving. Recovering from a spin earlier in this race as well as Chad Swatsworth, really. They're sitting 1-2. Now on the overcut strategy. The benefit of the overcut strategy, they can have a shorter pit stop here if they want to. If they can stretch it out, they can make it a way smaller pit stop here. They can save some time. Obviously, if a caution comes out before the pit stop, then that puts everyone that's already come down pit lane a lap down and really minimizes the amount of contenders for the PFL 500 at the end of this race, if that takes place. But we officially have had green flag pit stops for the first time tonight. And if we go another about 16, 17 laps, we'll have the full field go through that cycle, and we'll know who's got what for the end of this race. Josh Gaiman, though, leads the way, trying to find his 7th win and also trying to break a winless streak dating back almost nearly as long as Zach Meredith. Leads the way. Susi divulging a little bit more information, watching along with everybody else at this point. Unfortunately, Susi not going to have the day that he was hoping for. He's going to be classified in the 35th position, given everything that he had today. Divulging that Josh Gaiman on a very similar set, if not near equal to what he was running earlier. So Gaiman in that 61 car has got some pace. Coming up on the 2 of Kissenweather. Remember, he was involved in that spin with David Snow Jr., and I'm now about to go a lap down. Byron Jones down pit lane from 8th place. So pit stop still ongoing here. Josh Gaiman, Zach Meredith, and Chad Swatch with the top 3. Josh Arnold in 4th. Then it's Bailey Thompson, Christina Ryan, Zach Apperson, Randy Payne, Callie Height now in the top 9, and then Gary Donaldson in 10th. It's been a very topsy-turvy race, a race that saw Kaylin Height, a 17-time race winner, fail to qualify in HTL for the first time in her career. We have a pretty open finish set ahead of us here in Charlotte for the PFL 500. Bailey Thompson, Callie Height in this time. So more pit stops up and coming. I believe the concern is over the undercut at this point. Some cars coming in earlier instead of stretching it to about lap 175-ish. That's about 172. So pit stops coming not far away, but some obviously pitting earlier. Swatsworth and Apperson, they're both down pit lane. They're not going the full fuel window. They don't need to, really, in this conversation. Once we got past lap 158, everyone was good to go to the finish. That was the number that those that came down pit lane earlier on from the lap 104 stop, that's the number they were aiming for, and they got it. Meredith, Arnold, Ryan down pit lane. Randy Payne stays out. Gaiman, we're seeing on your screen, staying out as well. Kevin Feemster, Angel Santiago also staying out at this point, as is Mark Kissenmother and Jeremy Braille, who are a lap down. Here comes your race leader, Josh Gaiman. In pit lane on lap 170, Randy Payne pretty far away, not battling for the race lead just yet. Does he stay out of pit? Does he stay out and lead a lap is the question. Josh Gaiman will lead this lap to start lap 171. So Randy Payne will not lead this lap. He's already crossed our finish line. Does Randy Payne stay out to try to lead a lap? There's no bonus points to do so. Only points you can get in HTL Cup Series action is either your race finish position or through finishing top 10 in the stages. So it's purely for symbolic reasons if he does decide to lead a lap here. Got himself out of the traffic. Does he try to come down pit lane? Does not look like it. And he will. He's going to go for a wide entry. That is coming in hot. And somehow he got it. That's insane. That is insane. Santiago, though, will lead the lap here. So Santiago gets his first lap led in Charlotte tonight. So the race lead, once Santiago comes down pit lane here, he's signaling to Callie Height that he is coming down pit lane here shortly. So Callie Height will go back through and get a lap back and get back on the lead lap, really. Santiago comes down pit lane. Hunter Peach re-inherits the race lead, and it's a tight fight between Peach and Blowers. Lily Sharp, one of the earlier ones to come in, now sits in third, but is being reeled in little by little by Bryn Roberts in the 83 car sitting in fourth at the moment. More cars coming out of pit lane. That's a 38 of Ross Baxter, who finally got that car back to a serviceable condition. Attrition has not been very high tonight. There's not been a lot of cautions that have caused attrition tonight. There's been a lot of spins, not a lot of actual wrecks. We only had a couple. 23 cars on the lead lap as things sit right now. Make that 22 with Santiago going the lap down, leaving pit lane. But not a lot of retirements just yet. A lot of cars off the trouble, and yellow flag is out. Caution has come out. It is not for Santiago. That was the first thought. We've seen cars spin coming out of pit lane. That is not the case. It is Elias Flores where the incident has come through. What has happened to Elias Flores? San Francisco native, who qualified so well tonight, has fallen apart altogether here. And we'll see what happens. He also coming out of pit lane, and he did spin coming out of pit lane. That is exactly what happened to Flores. Safety concerns, that's Santiago coming out of pit lane. That's where the caution came out. in the path of oncoming traffic. And Flores, unfortunately, no contact with Flores. So no damage though in the 99 car, but I think genuinely just kind of embarrassed to spin out on the pit exit there. First car to do so tonight. And that puts him now, and he's going to go ahead and just give up the ghost. He is out of this race and will join the retirement queue. So let's go ahead and go over the retirement list here. Eli Sasek out after only 8 laps. Pacey Wygen out after 49. Dean Clavitt out after 72 laps completed. KJ Gibney out after 80 laps completed. Patrick Oberstadt out after 108 laps completed. As looks like more cars coming down pit lane, and this will be the group coming down from the earlier pit stops on lap 158. They're going to get some fresh tires and reset the clock in what could be their final pit stop here tonight. Patrick Oberstadt after 108 laps. Josh Susi out after 139. We talked about his technical failure being caused by a power outage. Stephen Oberstadt out after 150 laps. Matt Vorndren on pit lane after 155. Not giving up the ghost yet. He is still rolling off the lead lap. Ross Baxter also still rolling. Same with Dale Markowski. Elias Flores joining the retirement queue. That gives us 33 cars running on the racetrack at the moment. 7 retirements here tonight through 8 cautions here in Charlotte. A fantastic race has unfolded. But we have a late caution, and now everyone's good to go to the finish no matter what happens. So we'll see how this all plays out. And we're going to really stress test the open setup format here tonight in Charlotte. Zach Meredith leads the way. Chad Swatsworth, Bailey Thompson, and Josh Arnold, your top 4. Ahead of Cody Pinnell and Christina Ryan, your top 6. Bobby Blowers, Lily Sharp, Josh Kamen, Brendan Roberts, all coming down pit lane under this caution to put themselves on the fresh tire cycle to try to end out this race and challenge for a race win here in the BFL 500. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clear out the Twitch caution, or the Twitch ad break here before we go back racing. So stay with us so we can go caution-free or commercial-free to the end. Ready to get back underway here at Charlotte for the BFL 500. Glad you're with us. What has been a very exciting race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Meredith Swatsworth, your top 2, all in camo. And a hornet's nest behind them as we go back racing. 8th restart of the night is underway. And trouble in the back. We stay green. These cars at the back of the field staying green. And they battle up front for the race lead. Meredith, Swatsworth, Thompson, Arnold, top 4. Christina Ryan now up in 5th. They are duking it out here in Charlotte. Going on board, Christina Ryan. Battling with Josh Arnold for 4th. And caution's out. Caution's out. And this is an ugly one. Front straightaway. That's Cody Pennell backwards. Several involved. Carter, Pennell, Callie Height, all involved here, and others. Ninth caution of the night. Let's take a look at what happened. This is out of turn 4. And it looks like Cody Pennell's car just unloads right there in front of Zach Apperson coming out of turn 4. Overcorrects and just a swift hit. Almost takes out Sharp there in the 19. Nowhere for Apperson to go. Huge set of unloads there. Davis Mills Jr. and Chelsea Carter all involved. Everyone has to try to avoid action there. Car jumping through the grass there, the AstroTurf. There goes Pereira. Several cars having to jump through hoops to avoid that one. And we're right on board here with Cody Pennell. He just gets loose, trying to battle Josh Kamen there. And only so much you can do in that situation. You see the world spin around the 8 car. As we mentioned, also trouble for David Smeal Jr. and Chelsea Carter. We're right on board with the 78. Trying to avoid the contact here. Tags the 54. Smeal. And finds the wrong way into the wall on the front straightaway. And we'll take one more look here at David Smeal Jr. His on board. Thinks he's good. Suddenly is not. And another case of what could be for the 54 camp. One of the faster cars tonight will not have a lot to show for it as it sits. As we mentioned, commercial free on Twitch for those watching live for the rest of the way. We appreciate you hanging in there with us. A lot of people, though, loving the open setup vibes here tonight. Cody Pennell back on the pit lane for some more repair work to be done. Lights out on the pace cars means we're going green for the 8th time tonight. Meredith, Thompson, Swatsworth, Arnold, your top 4. Josh Arnold, thanks to Stephen Overtaft's retirement from this race, will win the mid-season madness and grab the cash prize with that. The game of survival to get to the finals from Chicago last week. He did that, beating out Patrick Oberstadt to do so. Stephen Oberstadt had to take on his teammate, Bren Roberts, to do so, and succeeded in that measure, but couldn't find that here tonight in Charlotte Motor Speedway for the PFL 500. Less than 30 to go in Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is Meredith and Thompson that lead the way. 8th restart in hand, in trouble. Arnold spun, and caution comes out immediately for the 9th time. And I would like to say, without looking, that Arnold may have got a little bit of help from row 3. We saw some wheel spin earlier. Christina Ryan, when she was in the front of the field, didn't get away cleanly, but didn't have the spinning situation there. Let's take a look. Again, we're looking at Josh Arnold, and we'll look from the chopper cam up above. And that is the 23 of Blowers right on the bumper of the 12. And he's going to get a lot of help pretty quick here in the restart zone. A lot of help. And no, actually, it wasn't Blowers. Blowers let off of him before the restart zone. So that was wheel spin altogether for the 12. It looked tight, and it was tight until the acceleration zone. Arnold just gunned it and looped to the right. So that's unfortunate. So apologies to Bobby Blowers, not involved in that at all as far as being a contributor. And in fact, we're right on board with him here. Full speed for Bobby Blowers. Right there on the bumper. Everyone goes. Blowers a little bit behind that. Hits it, gets involved in it, but did not start it. And that was his onboard there in full. Less than 25 laps to go here in Charlotte. Here's Josh Arnold. To the back of the field now, giving up that fourth place starting spot on that restart. Had a chance for something really good. Now we'll have to really fight for it here. He is down in the 17th spot right now. Not a great place to be. Field at the side of your screen. We'll pull the top 5 at the bottom of your screen. There we go. After 184 laps completed, Zach Meredith leads the way, looking for his second win at Charlotte, ahead of Bailey Thompson, looking for 2 wins in a row after winning at Charlotte last Monday. Chad Swatsworth, your winner of the Daytona 500, to kick off the season, trying to win another crown jewel here in Charlotte. It'll be his first time winning the BFL 500 if he can complete that quest. But he's got to do it from the second row. Bobby Blowers, Super Sub appearance number 2 for the Pennsylvania native. He sits in 4th in the 23 car. Lily Sharp looking for her first win on an oval, her second win in her HTL Cup Series career. She sits 5th for this upcoming restart. Christina Ryan, her 3rd start in HTL. Numerous starts, over 100 of them in ABN competition. Her 3rd in HTL, she sits 6th. And we'll start outside row 3. Lights go out on the pace car at the front of the field, meaning we're about to go back racing. Bryn Roberts, Josh Gaiman, row 4, Blake Henderson, and Byron Jones, row 5, for the upcoming restart to round out your top 10. Alfred Denny, quiet run, good run. He's 11th with Josh Schultz alongside him in row 6. Tucker Sawyer, Callie Height, row 7. Callie Height's, again, a miracle. Went 3 laps down early on due to technical failure, similar to what Josh Susie went through later on in the race. Came back, got all 3 of those laps back, now sits 14th. Gary Donaldson sitting 15th ahead of Mark Kissenmother. Angel Santiago, Josh Arnold in row 9. Row 10, Chelsea Carter, Kyle Taub, Kevin Beamster, Hunter Peach, row 11. David Smith Jr. and Jeremy Braille, your last cars on the lead lap, 23rd and 24th. As things sit, first car lap down, Austin Mongold. He's 2 laps down here tonight. Cody Pennell, he is 3 laps down. Same with Olivia Pereira and Zach Apperson. 3 laps down for all 3 of them. Before tonight, it seemed pretty likely you'd bet the farm that Mongold would be back on lead lap, and so would Cody Pennell. That's not how this race has been. 9 cautions. This is the first time we've had back-to-back yellows for a spin on the restart. Let's see if we can get going once again. 9th restart underway. Here we go. And Zach Meredith absolutely storms the restart, gets clear of Thompson, and Bobby Blowers will try to do the same. Everyone got away clean that time. 22 to go, coming to 21 to go when they cross the line next time. Meredith, Thompson, Blowers, top 3, swaps with Sharp, Gaiman, Ryan. Your top 7. Make that your top 8. Here comes Blake Henderson. Cautions out. Santiago. And that car is in huge trouble on the front straightaway. Big time trouble for Santiago. Last car on the lead lap. This will give Austin Mongol a lap back, I do believe. Well, we'll take a look at it and see what happened to car 90 for Coast to Coast Racing. Caution number 10 tonight. Everyone pushing a little bit harder. Santiago, last car on the lead lap, had nothing to lose. But may have found a little bit to lose in terms of the health of his number 90 car. His teammate leading the way. Santiago, similar setup on that number 90 car, but not having the same success. And we'll take a look as to why. This is in slow motion, 3 wide. That's Peach to the inside. That's Chelsea car to the outside lane. And Santiago just gets run out of real estate there by Peach, it looks like. Bounces off one of the cars that tries to get through there. Can't tell immediately who that is. The number's an American flag, so I can't get a good look. Looks like that was Kevin Feemster that he bounced off of, the 71. We'll get a better look here in a second go through. Overall, it doesn't look like a lot of damage itself came from this accident. It looks like all the damage for Santiago was earlier in the race. So we'll grab the chopper cam following around the racetrack here. And that is 71 of Feemster, that Army Jeep colored car with the American flag numbers. Yeah, he bounces off of Feemster there. Feemster on the lap there as well. And Santiago, I think, does overall, I think, a really good job locking it down here. Obviously, the AstroTurf on the infield will help out with that too. Not as bumpy as natural grass like what you'll see in Atlanta next week. And Santiago stays relatively safe, gets that car back to first gear and gets that car rolling again and stays on the lead lap. And it will help Austin Mongol get a lap back in this exchange. Santiago will get more repair work done and try to stay on the lead lap. Mongol got his free pass. He's now 1 lap down. Zach Meredith will lead the way here for another restart, the 10th of the night. More open setup racing comes next Monday. The Henderson Graphics 400 at Atlanta. HTL's home playground, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to be an exciting race there. Open setup at Atlanta. Pocono after that, November 24th, right before Thanksgiving. And then the Charity 350 at ABN's home playground, Kentucky Speedway, on December 1st. Sebring, December 8th. And then Bristol, December 15th. Getting us closer and closer to the holiday season and the end of the regular season. Monday Night Football, low-scoring defensive affair. It is 10-7 in Green Bay. It is the Eagles leading the Packers 10-7. First touchdowns on the board, though, late in the second half. Less than 5 minutes to go in that game. As we get ready to go, racing again, commercial-free all the way to the end. Let's look at where everyone started tonight's race. Josh Gaiman started 3rd. He's backed up to 5th. Some big-time gainers. Christina Ryan from 38th to 8th. Bryn Roberts from 39th to 9th. Some pretty big movers. Some pretty big losses, though, as well, to be considered. Obviously, Pacey Wygent, one of the first ones out of tonight's race from the pole position, classified 39th. And it will be a pretty devastating hit to his point standing in terms of fighting for the regular season championship. That will not be the case. Caitlin Height failing to qualify for the first time in her HTL Cup Series career. The empty spot on the lone page there at the back. Meredith and Thompson once again in front of the field for another restart. Then it's Blowers and Sharp. Sharp on the outside lane this time. Blowers was on the outside lane last time by. So now Blowers needs to rely on Thompson having a good restart, whereas Sharp can just follow the lead of the 17. A lot of drivers looking for their first win at Charlotte. Meredith not one of them. He leads the field to green, looking to break a 3-year winless route. And they go 3 wide immediately. Blowers was not waiting for Thompson to go. Thompson not giving Sharp a lot of space. Can't really give a lot of space. They hip check. Blowers had lost enough speed that wasn't a significant issue. But he's going to try it again out of 3 and 4. They are all behind Zach Meredith trying to find their way forward. Thompson holds on to second. Sharp up to third. Blowers losing spots. He's down to 7th. Gaiman up to 4th. Swatsworth up to 5th. Byron Jones getting shuffled backwards here. Car in the fence, that's Blowers. Everyone going for it, less than 20 to go. Sharp trying to chase down Meredith. Has to get around Bailey Thompson first. Thompson's not going to make it easy. Cars in the fence, left, right, and center, but we're staying green at the moment, no spins. Henderson trying to make his way forward. He's finished top 10 once this season at Texas. Can he do it again here at Charlotte? Side by side battling. Physical contact there between Thompson and Sharp pushes through for second. Now can she charge forward and win on an oval and take it away from Zach Meredith? Caution would change things again for the 11th time. We've not seen that yet. It's so close yet so far away. And I would not be surprised if we get another one here. It'd be our 11th of the night. We got away with a couple tonight as well. Meredith sees the 19 in the mirror, but it's 6/10 apart. Gaiman battling for third, trying to get around Thompson. Thompson trying to get that car to fire up. It's got long run pace. We do not have a long run ahead of us. Coming to 12 laps to go. Gaiman up to third. Thompson in fourth and dropping. Thompson's teammate, Blake Henderson, up into the top 5. Battling Shad Swatsworth, 2 of the most veteran drivers in the series. Battling in the top 10. Henderson looking for his first top 5 of the season. Can he get there? He's got to get around Swatsworth. He does. And now he's got to get around Thompson. Car in the fence. That was Stoltz. Christina Ryan up to 8th. Coming to 11 to go. Thompson running middle lane. Henderson at the bottom. How hard do you fight? If your teammate's here and you know your teammate's faster. Obviously, Thompson wants another race win, but that seems to be a figment of imagination right now. Henderson, 25th in points going into the night, has not had a fun time this season. Back in season 3, he was in the podium contention, got wrecked out by Scott Poznansky. That was his best chance to win a crown jewel event here in HTL outside of the Brickyard 400 that he won in season 2. He has not been that close since. He's up to 4th, around Thompson. Thompson gets loose, hip checks Swatsworth. They keep it safe. Swatsworth moves up to 5th. Can't clear Thompson yet. Thompson side drafts. They'll stay side by side for 5th behind. Henderson to 4th. It's a 3-car breakaway, but Meredith keeping them all at arm's distance. 9 to go. Kissenweather up to the top 10, up to 7th once again. Byron Jones 8th. Christina Ryan in 9th. Christina Ryan's best finish, 4th at Le Mans. Back in season 4. 3 long seasons ago. She's in 10th right now and dropping. Flowers dropped all the way down to 21st after tagging the wall. His race effectively in the mud unless something late happens here that changes everything. Sharp cannot close in much further right now. She's been stuck about half a second or further away from the 17, trying to burst through that bubble and close in to try to challenge for the race win. Meredith looking to breathe pretty scot-free. Pereira down the pit lane with damage, but out of the way. Meredith extends the gap, 7/10. Looks like Sharp's better in turns 1 and 2. Closes in to about 5/10. Meredith a lot better in 3 and 4. That's the wind direction. Wind blows out of turn 4. It's crosswind pushing out against the car in turn 4. Gives a lot of understeer or a lot of takeoff oversteer. We've seen a lot of spins out of turn 4 because of that wind. It pushes you down, makes you very snug in turns 3 and 4. Or sorry, in turns 1 and 2, excuse me. And we're seeing the ebb and flow here. Gaiman staying in equal distance from Sharp as well, about 3/10 away. Not expecting lap traffic to be a factor here with 5 laps to go. Henderson in 4th, but too far away to challenge for a podium. A top 4, though, for Henderson will be a blessing on his soul, given how bad this season has been for him. But it's all eyes on Zach Meredith, looking for his first race win in over 3 years. This racetrack, season 3, 4 seasons to go. A lot has changed for Zach Meredith. Meredith, in that time frame, got married, became a father, ran full-time, ran part-time, lost races every imaginable way, qualified 6th tonight, and now has 4.5 miles to break a winless streak at a place that he last won so many years ago. Sharp sits 2nd, having started this race 27th on the grid. And what has been her most complete oval performance yet. Josh Gaiman sits 3rd after having to spin earlier. Started 3rd, dropped all the way back to 36th, made his way back up into the top 3. 2 to go here in Charlotte for the BFL 500. Henderson in 4th. Again, a second adrift from the podium conversation, trying to hang on as they battle behind him for 5th. Hunter Peach around Swartzworth. And a night that was dominated by Toyotas. It'll be a Ford coming around to take the final lap. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, presented by the Southern Cleaning Company. Trouble further back. Thompson crashes out. They stay green. That's Baxter that hits the 27. Thompson will not see the finish. It is all in the clear for the race leaders as they go through 3 and 4 for the final time. As the dust builds and the clouds settle, Zach Meredith's a winner again. He wins the BFL 500. Willie Sharp finishes 2nd. Josh Gaiman completes the podium. Blake Henderson saves his season with 4th. And Hunter Peach continues his ascent in 5th. But it is Zach Meredith, your race winner tonight. First time in over 3 years. So many life changes between then and now. A lot of congratulatory bumps for Zach Meredith. The boys over at Pizza and Wings podcast are going to be partying tonight, and Meredith will burn it down in Charlotte once again. His 3rd career win, and now all but assured a chance at the championship in Season 7. Meredith burns it down here in Charlotte. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and then go over the finishing order here in the BFL 500. Zach Meredith, winner for the 3rd time in his career. First time since Season 3, back in 2022. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL 500 post-race coverage beginning here on ABN. A fun night, a fantastic night, a lot to digest tonight as well for the drivers and the teams and the HTL officials as well, given what I would say a genuine success for the open setup test here tonight. Obviously, 3 more races with the open setups before the final verdict for potential changes next season. Zach Meredith, your race winner. We'll hear from our podium finishers here in just a moment. The full running order, though, will pop up on your screen right now. Zach Meredith, Lily Sharp, and Josh Gaiman will be your podium finishers. We'll talk to all 3 of them in a moment. Blake Henderson in 4th, saving his season in a dramatic way here tonight. Ahead of Hunter Peach, Shad Swatsworth, Mark Kissenweather, Kyle Taub, Christina Ryan finishing top 10, her second career top 10 in HTL in 3 starts. Tucker Sawyer finishing in 10th. Callie Height from 3 laps down, finishing 11th tonight, almost in the top 10 here at Charlotte. Alfred Denny in 12th. Callie Height considering this track home. Alfred Denny keeping himself quiet, keeping himself safe, and getting himself a good finish here tonight. Jeremy Braille and Kevin Feemster outside the top 12, but a solid race for them, all things considered. Chelsea Carter filling in for Richard Odie III in that 78 car. Gets that car one of its best finishes over the last couple years in 15th. Gary Donaldson, one of his better finishes this season, qualified dead last, finished 16th. Kept that car clean as well. Josh Stoltz, Bobby Blowers, 17th and 18th. Byron Jones and David Smoot Jr., 19th and 20th. Angel Santiago, Josh Arnold, Bailey Thompson, and Bryn Roberts round out those that finished on the lead lap here tonight. And then you look at drivers that finished a lap down or just simply was unable to finish. Austin Mongold, 1 lap down in 25th. Zach Apperson, 3 laps down in 26th. Olivia Pereira, likewise, off the lead lap in 27th. Dale Markowski, multiple laps down in 28th. Cody Pinnell in 29th. A lot of retirements here. Ross Baxter, 30th. Matt Vorngren, 31st. Randy Payne, Elias Flores, Stephen Oberstadt, Josh Susi, and Patrick Oberstadt, your top 36 here tonight. Again, Josh Arnold winning the prize purse, with Stephen Oberstadt retiring first from this race. Josh Arnold wins the prize purse from the midseason tournament, the midseason madness. Your final run of form here, KJ Gibney, Dean Clavitt, Pacey Wygent, Eli Sasek are retiring before the end of the first half of this race. Kaylin Height, for the first time in her career, failing to qualify here in Charlotte. One of the winningest drivers of all time in HTL, unable to get that car into the field after qualifying 35th fastest in the slowest of the uncharted entries. That being said, it is time to catch up to the field and the podium finishers here in play. We will start with Josh Gaiman, 3rd place finisher here tonight here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Josh, this is coming from the ABN booth. A spin to a podium. Not a bad way to spend recovering here in Charlotte. Walk us through it. Everyone was pretty excited but didn't know what to expect tonight. What was it like for the 61 camp? Obviously, an outstanding drive for you here tonight. Obviously, feeling not really racing full time for the championship. At least it didn't appear that way. You came in a few races into the season, filling into an open car And I do have to apologize here. I believe we missed part of the opening conversation there tonight. Um, but coming in tonight, the 61 car, we knew how good you've been, but it seemed like it had been a while since you had a chance to battle for that race win here in HTL. Tonight, that 61 car came alive. A great looking car tonight, the 61 car, Air Force inspired. What was that feeling like being able to battle for the race lead? Not only be able to battle for it, but actually get the race lead tonight as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a good change of pace from what has been here in the past. Being able to run what I want definitely helped. I was able to drive something that fits my driving style over, maybe somebody else's. Um, the car was super good on the long run. It definitely lacked the short run pace, and that's probably why I wasn't able to make any headway early on. But if we had just a little bit longer of a run, it definitely would have been a much different picture.
And obviously, this is not just a one-time thing. The next three races as well are going to be open set up: Atlanta, Pocono, and Kentucky, all open set. The excitement has to be up there now. Obviously, we know how good you are across the board. It's a game changer. It genuinely is here at HTL. What's the optimism like now going into the next three races, knowing that the 61 car has going to be a factor in all of them?
Yeah, for sure. I'm getting a lot more used to running open sets in a lot of different cars, so it's starting to be more of a thing where I'm tuning and figuring out where my driving style's at. It's definitely different than it was 10 years ago, but we're gonna pluck away at it over these next couple of weeks. Next week's gonna be just put something together that's trimmed out and enough to still have some tires on it. But the two after that should definitely be a good challenge to really see what we got as far as speed.
A fantastic job for Ferrari Motorsports tonight here. Obviously, you finished third. Cali Height recovered from being 3 laps down to finish 11th as well. So great recoveries for both of you tonight. Before we let you go and let you get ready for the rest of your week and get ready for Atlanta next Monday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again on the podium.
Yeah, I'd shout out the whole Nitro crew. Shout out Josh Susie. He kind of put together this rocket ship, and it was a bit of a slow burn, but on the long run, the thing was absolutely unstoppable. It's a shame that we had so much trouble there at the end of the race to get going again, but it was able to stick in there even with a little bit of damage on the front. Shout out to the admins for putting the series on, and for you for doing the broadcast.
Now, standing job for Josh Gaiman running that B52 Palmer scheme. The 61 car finishes P3 tonight here in Charlotte, with Atlanta coming up here next Monday. Josh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll move on along to Lily Sharp, your second place finisher, podium on an oval, looking for a race win on an oval for the first time to join her win at Daytona on the road course a couple seasons ago. Not to be, but a lot of things to be happy about going into this little run of open set of races. Lily, walk us through it. First time this you've looked genuinely comfortable on the ovals in HTL, and it showed tonight.
I can never get the rotation I want out of the car. But with this set, it just played into what I wanted the car to do. It was never too tight or too free. It was in a perfect balanced zone that I could just flow with, fight my way up from like P done place 30 or something up to the front. I had to do it 3 times, but the set I had underneath me could do it.
Obviously, a lot of work going into this race. Obviously, Josh Susie, your teammate, putting a lot of work in to try to get things to work out for NFG, looking for that first race win this season. Missing out, but optimism's got to be high here. Obviously, Atlanta's still going to be a plate race. That's kind of a universal thing. But Pocono, that's a racetrack that's sort of been up and down for you in your career. And Kentucky, again, a lot of things up in the air, but a lot of optimism here. What's the excitement level for you going into these string of next 3 races, knowing that you're going to have a really good chance at all 3 of them?
Atlanta and Pocono, I think I can really do well at, especially Pocono. It's a track that plays into my strengths, especially when it comes into braking. Kentucky, I'm missing because I'm going to be in Sweden, and unfortunately, I have no rig over there in Sweden, so that one's going to sting. So it's definitely a lot to try and build up points fair for when I inevitably have to miss another race.
It helps you out significantly here tonight. Second place here in Charlotte. Exactly what the doctor ordered for your campaign here as far as trying to lock in a battle for a championship once we get through the new year. Before we let you go and obviously get ready with your team for the next couple of races coming up ahead, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, Lily, the floor is yours. Congrats on a podium here on an oval, and I think a sign of good things to come here if open setup is the way we go.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Nitro Setups and Soci for tuning the setup to just perform as well as it did in traffic, out of traffic, and in clean air. Sorry I couldn't finish the job and get the win. I overdrove it the last 10 laps, so I need to work on that late race stuff and not overdrive it. Trek Racer Turn 1, Pit Wall, Demon Tweaks, Ace Attack also for being on the car. The whole of NFG as a whole.
Outstanding job for Lily Sharp. Second place here in Charlotte. Next week, Atlanta will provide a new challenge. But NFG up to the task if tonight's any indication. Congratulations, Lily, and we'll see you again. If not for ABN action this week, we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Outstanding job for Lily Sharp here. Second place tonight in the HTL Cup Series BFL 500. I'm going to see if we can interrupt Zach Meredith. The party's sort of congregated in the interview waiting room, so we'll give it a chance here. The man of the hour, over 3 years in the making. A lot of life changes in those 3+ years. Last time he won, it was here at Charlotte, the BFL 500 in Season 3, on his way to a championship campaign. He became a father. He got married. A lot of life changes in the meantime between race wins, but he's done it again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Zach Meredith, how are we feeling?
I miss talking to you. Welcome back, baby.
Walk us through this race. Obviously, open setup opened a lot of things up. That 17 car looked good tonight, qualified top 10, qualified 6th place tonight, and you were never out of that conversation tonight. Walk us through how everything played out for that 17 car, especially for Coast to Coast tonight.
I mean, shout out to Kyle for the setup. He got us a setup, and we just all practice session. We just tweaked it, try to mess with it. But just going off the start, started 6th, ripped outside. The setup was really good in the middle on the outside lane. I didn't really care for the bottom, but just try to take care of tires. But that's what kind of bit me was the bumps in 1 and 2. So when I got to the lead and spun from the lead, it was a tiny bump. It offset the car. I went back to 30th, whatever, 35th, wherever I went back, drove all the way back up to 12th, 13th, whatever it was. And then I got caught up in Markowski and Bailey's wreck, went all the way to the back, fixed the damage, drove all the way back up to like 15th again, got wrecked again by whoever was involved with Bailey's wreck this time. I think it was Eli was in it, I think. I don't know. There was just like 4 cars and I got squished against the wall. So went all the way back, fixed damage. I had like 2.5 minutes of damage. I just sat there and fixed. And I even spit on pit road. I spit on pit road on one of the cautions. That sucked because then I went from like 20th back to 30th, and then drove all the way back to the front. And then on one of the green flag pit stops, I think our only green flag pit stop we had, coming into pit road, I actually almost spun out because the rear is locked when I hit the brakes. So I slid sideways into pit road. Didn't speed. It was great. It was like Tokyo Drift into pit road. And then, that setup was just phenomenal. I was able to run any lane. I was able to push as hard as I wanted. I was good in traffic, leading anything. I just needed to be up the front and not make mistakes. And my one mistake led to a bunch of other problems. And once I finally got my chance to be in the top 5, I made sure that was not leaving, and I was just praying so much that there was no more cautions in the last 20 laps. Just let me go. Just let me rip the middle. Let me rip the outside. No one's going to pass me. No one's going to catch me. Sharp did a good job of keeping the pressure on within half a second, but I was not letting this slip away. It's been way too long since I've won a race in this league. I've had plenty of slip ups and mistakes that cost me wins last year between Atlanta, Talladega, and I think even Talladega this year. I made a mistake and it put me in the back, and I had no chance of winning. So the fact I finally won again, and it just feels great. And it's funny that this is America's race, and I'm a British guy winning this for the second time.
Obviously we can talk about the funny similarities here. Second time winning this race. You won this race when it was fixed setup. You won this race when it was open setup. That was the conversation going into this race, was how much would open setup change things. You talk about sort of just practicing, getting what you could, scavenging for something that would work, and getting familiar with that. What is your feeling going into the next 3 races, knowing that it's open set for all 3, and Coast to Coast had a pretty good finger on the pulse for a nice race here in Charlotte?
Yeah, I'll be honest, open set doesn't change how people drive at all. Not in the slightest. I mean, you can have open set all you want or fixed setup, but you can't fix people driving or running you over, or, just making mistakes a lot, or, whatever. But I mean, I had zero practice, zero anything up until about 30 minutes before the race. And Chad and J Paw and Kyle and Byron, they were all, we all came together, tried to work on the setup. And then, halfway through the race, when I made my adjustments, I told them what I was doing. And, we ran top 5, top 10 the entire time. As for the future 3 races, I would have to look at the schedule. I think
Atlanta, Pocono, and Kentucky, the next 3.
Atlanta, I think you probably get away with just running default. I mean, you can't go much faster at a plate track. Sure. I mean, it is what it is, but it also depends if it's going to be like, is the track going to be slick, or is it going to be cold like this? That will really determine a lot of things. Pocono. I mean, I love Pocono. I love all 3 tracks, really. I love Atlanta, both variations. I love Pocono. And I love Kentucky, but as for Pocono, I don't know if anything for setup. I don't make setups. I just drive the car and try to tweak it as much as my knowledge goes. And then same thing with Kentucky. So I just hope that I can run top 5, top 10, collect stage points, because I keep missing them out, from other people's mistakes or my own. So I just need to stay consistent and stay inside the top, 16 points, so I can race for a second title.
Well, the good news is the last time you won a race, you won the title that season. So we're in a good trajectory here to do just that. And a race win here all but secures you're going to be in that playoff conversation to battle for a championship after the new year. But we are going to go ahead and let you just celebrate. I know the Piece of Wings podcast crew are watching you here tonight and cheering you on, watching live here on Twitch. So before we let you go and celebrate properly here tonight, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again, Zach Meredith, breaking the winless streak after over 3 years and grabbing a second BFL 500 win.
Thank you. Shout out for Byron for making all my schemes. Shout out to him for being a good friend, a good teammate. J Paw's team between Kyle, Chad, J Paw himself, Mark, my team, Angel, Byron, Mark Parkhurst, all my buddies in the Pizza Wings podcast and gaming side. So Cole, Dylan, Chase Griff, Cheese. I mean, I could list the entire roster. Shout out for you for broadcasting. Hopefully this was a lot better of a race than the last couple of races that you've had a broadcast here. I know it's been rough driving it. It's been rough. And with that being said, I hope you kick Cancer's ass. I hope you kick its ass, and just have a good day. Everybody have a good day. God bless America. God bless the veterans. Love my country. Love my friends. Love my family. Love everybody.
It's really appreciated. And the sentiment is shared as well. A great way to salute the troops and those that has served or actively serving here tonight. Zach Meredith, a second race win here in the BFL 500. He gets to celebrate and try to grab more playoff points across the next month of action here as we get closer to Thanksgiving. Zach Meredith, congratulations. I'm glad to see you back in victory lane, and let's see if we can get you another one here on your way to the playoffs.
Let's do it.
Zach Meredith, the race winner here in the BFL 500, the second time tonight. We'll see him again at Atlanta next Monday. Zach, congratulations.
Thank you.
A fantastic run of form for Zach Meredith tonight. Grabs his third career win in HTL competition, his first in over 3.5 years. Gets him to the start-finish line here. And again, a huge props as you see the sun completely set, the lights are on, but the track is quiet as the circus moves on from Charlotte, now back home. The HTL's home playground, Atlanta Motor Speedway, next Monday. Bottom left of your screen are the races coming up. The Henderson Graphics 400 at Atlanta next Monday. And the Pocono 400 on November 24th. The Charity 350, the Bluegrass 350, as it has been called in ABN so many times. And our home playground December 1st, before we head to Sebring and Bristol to get closer to the holiday season. A lot of fun tonight across the board. Zach Meredith, your race winner. Willie Sharp, second. Josh Gaiman, third, your top 12. We'll pull it up one more time. A lot of congratulations to this field tonight. An outstanding race here in the BFL 500. What the doctor ordered tonight for so many drivers in this field. Blake Henderson, fourth. Hunter Peach, fifth. Chad Swatsworth finishing sixth. Mark Kissenbrother, seventh. Kyle Taub, Christina Ryan, and Tucker Sawyer rounding out your top 10. Ahead of Callie Height and Alfred Denny, your top 12 of 40 cars. A full field for a history-making race tonight. And Zach Meredith gets to say that he won the first non-plate open setup race in HTL Cup Series history. We won't see you on broadcast here for the Champ Car Challenger Series at Phoenix on Wednesday, or for the Aero Car Series this upcoming Sunday at Long Beach or Michigan. We will see you next Monday in Atlanta for the Henderson Graphics 400. We hope you join us. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, for the Cup Series, Henderson Graphics, Blankenship Freight Lines, and all of its partners, Southern Cleaning Company, and others, and everyone here at ABN Studios, thank you so much. Enjoy your Monday evening. Enjoy your week. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you in Atlanta.